This is the NAPLAN 2012 paper question 13. In this question it says Joe filled this empty bucket with water from a tap. First the water ran from the tap slowly. Then the water ran quickly until the bucket was nearly full. As the water reached the top of the bucket, he turned the tap off. Which graph best shows how the depth of the water in the bucket changed? You may pause the video and attempt the question. Okay, now let's look at these four graphs. Now, if we look at these graphs, if the gradient or the slope of the graph is quite low, that means that the water, with time, the water is not changing very much, so the water is running in slowly. So with this graph, the water is running in slowly and then very quickly, because the graph is very steep here, so in a short amount of time, say just from there to there, the depth of the water increases a lot. So this one is the water runs in slowly at first and then really quickly, and when the bucket's nearly full, the tap's turned off, and as the tap's turning off, there is still some water coming out of the tap, so that level will still rise but very slowly. Okay. In the second graph, it shows water is filling into the bucket, and then it looks like that the water is being emptied from the bucket because the depth of the water is coming back down. So this obviously is not the answer, okay, because up here in this description they don't talk about the water filling in the bucket and then emptying. With this third graph, it looks like the depth of water is changing at a constant rate. So this looks like the water is filling the bucket at a constant rate all the time. Now that is not what's happening in this description. First the tap runs slowly and then quickly, and then the tap's turned off. And in this last one, it looks like the water, because this is quite steep here, water is running from the tap quickly at first and then slowly, and that doesn't match with this description up here as well. So therefore the correct answer must be the first graph. Now for question 14 of the 2012 non-calculator paper. To make a syrup, 3 cups of water must be used for every 4 cups of sugar. How many cups of water are needed for 6 cups of sugar? If you like, you can try and use this scaffold like this table down here to help you. Pause the video and attempt the question. Now I'm looking at this question. The information in the question is telling us that to make the syrup, 3 cups of water for every 4 cups of sugar. So I'm going to put that the ratio of water to sugar is 3 to 4. Now it says how many cups of water are needed for 6 cups of sugar. We've already got 4 cups of sugar. We really only need 2 more cups of sugar. So if 4 cups of sugar needs 3 cups of water, then to halve, if we do 4 divided by 2, that's 2. We can now do 3 divided by 2, and that's 1.5. So 4 cups of sugar needs 3 cups of water, so 2 cups of sugar needs 1.5 cups of water. In the question they're asking us how much water for 6 cups of sugar. If we add this 4 and 2, we get 6 cups, and if we add the 3 and the 4.5, we get 4.5 cups. So the answer is 4.5. Okay, this is the 2012 non-calculator paper, question 15. Sam leaves home at 10:35 a.m. to go to a movie, and the movie starts at 12:20 p.m. How much time does Sam have before the movie starts? Pause the video and attempt the question. Okay, now what you can do here, you can put your starting time here, which is 10:35, and your finishing time over here, which is 12:20. And what we need to do is work out how much time there is between 10:35 and 12:20. So the easiest thing, you can go from 10:35 to 11, or you can go straight from 10:35 to 11:35, because that's exactly 1 hour. So I'll put that 1 hour in there. So from 10:35 to 11:35 is 1 hour. Then we'll see how long it is from 11:35 to 12 o'clock. Well, that's 25 minutes from 11:35 till 12 o'clock. And the last thing we need to do is look and see how much time there is from 12 o'clock to 12:20, and that's another 20 minutes. So the total time will be 1 hour, and adding these minutes together, you've got 25 minutes and 20 minutes, which makes 45 minutes. So we'll have 1 hour and 45 minutes. So the answer is this first one here. Now question 16 of the 2012 non-calculator paper. Which one of these is equal to 3 and 5/7? Now, I'm going to show you two methods here. Now, 3 and 5/7 means, this first method here, 3 and 5/7 means 3 plus 5/7. Now, notice all these answers are divided by 7. So what we're going to do, we're going to write 21 as something over 7. Now, we're going to write 3 as something over 7. So 3 is 21 divided by 7. So again, 3 and 5/7 means 3 plus 5/7. I'm going to write the 3 as 21 over 7. And I'm going to keep this plus 5 over 7. Because the denominators here are the same, we can keep the denominator as 7, and 21 plus 5 is 26. So therefore that's equal to 26 divided by 7, because 26 over 7 means 26 divided by 7. Another way is just to change the mixed numeral to an improper fraction. Now 3 and 5/7, if you remember the rule, to change this to an improper fraction, you do 7 times 3, which I've done there, is 21 plus 5. So we go 7 times 3 is 21 plus 5, and we get 26, and then we put that over 7. So we go through. Sorry, I'll just swap these two numbers around. So it's 7 times 3 plus 5. Okay, 7 times 3 plus 5. 21 plus 5, which is 26, and it's over 7. So we get 26 over 7, which means 26 divided by 7. So the answer is 26 divided by 7. Now, another way to approach this question is to look at all of these answers and see which one we think might be the correct answer. So, for example, if you're looking at 8 divided by 7 down here, 8 divided by 7 means 8 over 7. Now, then we say 7 goes into 8 once with 1 remainder over 7. We could do the same thing with the second one, which is 15 divided by 7. So we can say, I'll just fix that up now. So 15 divided by 7. So 15 divided by 7 is 15 over 7. So we say 7 goes into 15 twice, because 7 times 2 is 14, with 1 remainder 7. That's obviously not what the question is there, so that's not the answer. Then we can look at the third one. 21 divided by 7, well, we know that's just 3. We can write it as 21 over 7, which is 3. We know that's not the next answer, because 3 doesn't equal 3 and 5/7. We can try this one over here. 26 divided by 7 is 26 over 7. 7 goes into 26 3 times. 7 times 3 is 21, so we've got remainder 5 over 7, and we can see that that's the answer. So if you can't do it this first method, either of those two, you could try this method down the bottom, but it will take longer, because sometimes it might be the very last one that will work for you. Okay, question 17 of the 2012 non-calculator paper. Which of these multiplications gives the greatest value? Pause the video and attempt the question. Now, looking at the first one, remember this is non-calculator section, we want 0.031 times 100. So we'll start where the point is, and when you multiply something by 100, you're moving the decimal point 2 places to the right to make the number bigger. So from here we jump 1 and 2, and the decimal point will end up in between the 3 and the 1. So you'll end up with 3.1 for the first one. With the second one, we've got 0.132 times 10. Now the decimal point is in front of the 1, and we're timesing by 10, so we move the decimal point 1 place to the right. So the decimal point will end up in between the 1 and the 3. So we'll get 1.32. With the third, actually I won't do the third one yet, I'll look at the last one first. we're looking at 0.0003 times 1,000. Because we're multiplying by 1,000, the decimal point needs to be moved 3 places to the right from where it is now. So it's there, and we jump 1, 2, 3, and the decimal point will end up in front of the 3, so we'll end up with 0.3. Now for the last one. Now we're multiplying 0.312 by 0.1. Now when you have to work out where the decimal place is going to go, what we'll do, let's just pretend there are no decimal places in this question. If there are no decimal places, then 312 times 1 is 312. So this number here is correct. But let's just see with these, because we're multiplying 2 decimals here. To work out where the decimal point goes, we need to see how many digits are after the decimal point. Now, I can see here in the question that I've got 1, 2, 3 digits after the decimal point there, because that's 3, 1, 2, they're all after the decimal point. And here I've got, sorry, that didn't work. Over here, I've just got 1 digit. Oh, that's not working that well. I've got 1 digit after the decimal point, which is the 1. So that's a total of 3 plus 1, which is 4 digits after the decimal point. So what I have to do, I have to make sure that in my answer, I've got 4 digits after the decimal point. So I'm going to write the number 312, and then I've got to put the point in. So I've got 4 numbers after the decimal point, so I need 4 after the decimal point here. So if I've got the number 312, I'm going to have to put a 0 in front of it, so that I've got, see, because the point's there, and I've got 4 digits after the point, which is 0, 3, 1, and 2. Also, when you multiply 0.312 by 0.1, because 0.1's less than 1, your answer will actually be smaller than what you started with. For example, if you multiplied 0.312 times a half, which is 0.5, you'd get a smaller answer, because a half is less than 1. So with this one as well, 0.312 times 0.1, you're going to get a smaller answer than 0.312. So we're getting 0.0312. So therefore, the question is, which is the biggest answer? And if we look at all our answers there, it looks to me like 3.1 is the biggest answer. So that would be this first one. Because 3.1 is the biggest number, it's the answer to 0.031 times 100. This is NAPLAN Year 9 2012 non-calculator. Now the question is 35 times question mark equals 14. Which fraction is the question mark equal to? Pause the video and attempt the question. Now one way of doing this question, if 35 times something equals 14, then 14 divided by 35 will equal that question mark. So I'm just going to put that here. For example, if 35 times your question mark equals 14, then this question mark, then 14 divided by 35 equals that question mark. So I've written here that the question mark is 14 divided by 35. Now we can write 14 divided by 35 as 14 over 35. Now we can simplify 14 over 35 because if you notice, 14 and 35 both are in the 7 times tables. So you can divide, or we can say that 7 is a factor of the numerator and the denominator here. So we can divide 14 and 35 both by 7. So we're dividing the numerator and the denominator both by 7. So 14 divided by 7 is 2, and 35 divided by 7 is 5. Now another way of doing this question is to try, like if you can't work this out here, then there is another way that you could do this question. Now you could try each of these answers and see which one works. The only problem with that method is sometimes it can take a long time. So we're going to try 2/5 where the question mark is. So we've got 35 times 2/5. Because we're multiplying this number by a fraction, we'll write 35 as 35 over 1 times 2/5. Notice that the 5 will go into the 35 7 times. So we can divide the 35 and the 5 both by 5. So 35 divided by 5 is 7. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and then we're left with 7 times 2 is 14 on the numerator, 1 times 1 is 1 on the denominator, therefore the answer